Welcome to the channel. My name is Fuller Kamara. Today we're in chapter 45 using the books review center. Clients rely on their books being accurate to make business decisions. That's why checking transactions and reconciling accounts are essential to your period end workflow. However, closing all your clients' books can be time consuming. The books review center in QuickBooks Online automatically finds errors, incomplete expenses, and duplicate entries. This makes your typical period end workflow faster and smarter. You can easily track your progress for individual clients or even see it across the whole practice via the client list. Reviewing the books regularly helps keep the books tidy and up to date so that clients can get an accurate view of their finances and make the right business decision. So today we are going to use the Pro Advisor account, that is the QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor account, and I have created a client version of the training file QuickBooks Plus account that I've just created for this training only. So all the information that you will be seeing here is not from a real client. So this is just a sample data that I've just created. So we're going to do the books review. So once you receive the invite from the client, then you can accept the invitation. So once you click accept, it will require you to follow some security steps in order for you to gain access. So once you gain access, this is where you can see the client's book. So if you go to the client, if you click on client, you will see the clients on the bookkeeping tab that you have access to. So if you also click the overview, you can see a list of the clients, whether be it internally or external. So the only clients that you can see on the bookkeeping tab are the ones with subscription. You can also access the clients here. You can click on the client. So now it will open the client's books. So everything that we're seeing here right now is the client's books. This is no longer our books. This is the client. Whatever changes we make here, we're actually updating the client's books. So the reason why I'm explaining this because all what we've gone through is just me going through the Pro Advisor training account and also using the sample company. But this version is actually a subscription version, but it is just the trial version. So it is the 30 days free trial that I'm using just for me to be able to explain this chapter, because this chapter requires us accessing the client's books and then reviewing each of those book review tabs. Books review, you have the setup tab, and you also have the transaction review tab. Then you have the account reconciliation, final review, and wrap up. So this makes it easier for you as a pro advisor. So whenever you have like a monthly period end review, it makes it easier for you to have access to the client's books and also knowing what you need to do whenever you access the client's book. Remember, when you look at the books review, you can see, if you click on this down arrow, you will see cleanup and monthly. So currently we're in the cleanup, which shows the 5 tabs, that is the setup, transaction review, etc. But if you log in initially, maybe you might be in the monthly review, so you might not see the setup tab. So if you are in the monthly review, meaning you will just see transaction review, account reconciliation, final review, and wrap up. So if you want to see the setup tab, you have to go to the cleanup. So the cleanup will help you do the setup. So in this setup tab, what you normally do in this setup tab, you can update you can see the industry and the tax entity, which is for this is just a sole practitioner or sole proprietor. Then you have the accounting method, which is the accrual. So I'm not going to go into the detail here in terms of the setup, but you can check out setup chapter of our tutorial for you to be able to see exactly how to set this up. But if you click this edit settings, it will take you to the company, the accountant settings. So you see, this is the difference. When you are in the client's books, if you click on the gear icon, you can only see accountant settings. So now this settings, this is where you do the update. If you want to change anything, you can just click on the pencil icon. So then if I take you back to the practice, that is to my Pro Advisor account, which is for the training account, you can see this is here. You have the client list and also the team, the Pro Advisor. So these are the books for the Pro Advisor. Okay, so whatever you see here is the Pro Advisor. So if you click settings, you see you won't see the account and settings. You will see only the company settings. So that's the difference. But when you are in the client books, when you click the gear icon, you can see under settings, you will see account and settings. So that's the difference. So if you are accessing the client version, the settings there will be different when you are accessing your Pro Advisor account. So let's go back to the client's books. So once we're in the client's books, and let's go back to because we have the dashboard, but in this case, we're only going to focus on the books review. So you have the financial statement. In the financial statement, you have the balance sheet report and the profit and loss. So if you click any of this report, it will take you to the reporting section. So here, this is the balance sheet. So if we go back and click on the profit and loss, it will take us directly to the profit and loss account. So then we can customize this report. We have a whole chapter. So check out the chapter on reporting so you will know exactly how to customize report. Then we have the opening balance adjustment. So the opening balance adjustment area can be used to enter beginning balances in the new company and to verify that the beginning balances from the prior period haven't changed since the last time the tool was used. It's best to enter the balances from the last review and close reports to verify that the beginning balances match. So for the opening balance adjustment, let's say you have an opening balance that you want to adjust. Let's say if you bring the client to QuickBooks Online, maybe the client was using different software. So now when you bring them into QuickBooks Online, you have to look at you have to check the opening balances to make sure those numbers have not changed since you bring them into QuickBooks Online. So in that case, if the numbers are different, you can make adjustments. Like if you want a book adjustment, that is if you know what is causing the difference. Let's say for inventory, for other assets, let's say we have $200 difference. So if we have this $200 difference on the inventory assets account, we want to book an entry to bring this number, the difference, to 0. So the adjustment will be on this column. But once we've entered the amount, we can select which other account. So which account will be affected by this entry. So if we book an entry on the inventory, so the actual record that we have from books or from the previous software, we have like $200 for inventory, but currently it's showing here 0. So meaning we have to book an adjustment to increase the balance, so 200. So in other words, we are saying that the 200 should be the actual amount because the inventory is showing currently 0. So we have to book an entry. So to book the adjustment, we can select the opposite account here. So let's say in this case, let's just say opening equity balance, right? To just for correction purpose, we just wanted to do the credit to the opening equity and then debit the inventory. But most of the time, you will know which other account that is affected in terms of the entry. So in this case, we are just assuming that the other entry will be opening equity. So it doesn't mean this is the correct entry that we need to book. In every situation might be different. So whatever the situation is, you just have to know the double entry, which other account is affected in order for you to bring this inventory balance to 200. So in this case, we say 200 adjustment that we need to book to the opening equity account. So we have to check this. We have to check this amount. So once we check the amount that we want to book the entry, which is a 200, and then we've selected the opening equity, we click add adjustment. So you see, so now once you click add adjustment, you see this is showing now is an adjusting entry. Then you can change the date from here. So if everything is good, you can just click save and close. So if you click click save and close, now you see our adjusting entry is now 200. So the variance is now 0 because previously we have a variance of 200. So we are going through the setup tab. From the setup tab, you can review the financial statement there. That is the balance sheet and the profit and loss. Then you can book adjustments to the opening balances. That is for a new client. So just to make sure the balances are accurate for the new client. Then you also have the potential issues. So this is where you see the potential issues. Potential issues can come from disconnected bank feeds. In this case, since we haven't connected the bank feed in the first place, so we should be good here. Then the next thing from the potential issue, you can see account without activities for greater than 90 days. Some of those accounts might be potential inactive account, but in this case we just go with that. But most of the time, if you see accounts without activities in the last 90 days, it could mean some of those accounts are dormant or inactive, so you might make them inactive. But in this case, most of these accounts, we still need them, some of these accounts. So we're not going to make them inactive. So if you are comfortable with some of these changes, you can see from here on the right, you have to do. As a default, QuickBooks will show to do. That is, you have a to do to review disconnected bank feed. If that is done, you can just click done. Then this will automatically update to done. If you have also reviewed accounts without activity, you have reviewed this, you think these are inactive accounts, then you can go to the chart of accounts and make them inactive. But in this case, we can say, okay, we've looked at this account, so we need these accounts in this case. Then you can see also for additional items. These additional items, these are the ones that you can add as well. If you want to add additional items, let's say you want to add the sales tax, we can add the sales tax from there. Okay, so we say the names is sales tax. Then the link name also is sales tax. Then the detail, we don't put any detailed description. Then we paste the link. Now we save. So once we save that, you see, so now we can see, now we have a direct link to the sales tax. So here also we have direct link to the chart of account. So if we want to review the chart of account, we can just click this. It will take us to the chart of account. So this is where we review for duplicates to see if there are any duplicate accounts or if there are any industry specific account that we need to add. Then for the sales tax also, if we want to set up the sales tax, we can just click that. The one that we just added, it will take us directly to the sales tax as well. If you think about anything you think is valuable to add here for easy click so that you don't have to run all over the place, you can just maintain one dashboard. That will also be helpful. So once you finish, you can just click the down arrow from the status and then click done. So this is where you review some of those. You can customize this by clicking the app. Then you have the next tab is the transaction review. The transaction review address any problematic transaction, automatically identify errors such as incomplete expenses, and allows you to categorize transactions that the review identifies. So in the transaction review, you can see you have open issues, then you also have the bank transactions. And these are the transactions that are connected through the bank feed that you have not reviewed. So if you click on this, it will take you to the banking center. So you can see this is where you connect the account, whether be it credit card or checking account. Then you also have open issues. So open issues are either uncategorized transactions. Uncategorized transaction list transaction to be classified. So these are transactions that we have not classified yet. So you see, if you select this check mark or checkbox on the left, you can see you will have the action whether to ask the client or reclassify. So most time, if you are not sure about any transaction, this has not been categorized. So you can ask the client by clicking ask the client. So once you click the ask the client, you can see the QuickBooks Online will create a request. Remember, we've gone through the request, how to create a request request from managing your work on QuickBooks Online. So you can check that out if you want to see like detail. So once you click ask the client, you can see automatically create a request. See, we have a due date of November 12th. I did not type this just automatically populate. I need to know what these transactions were for so I can categorize them. Please be as specific as you can. So you see, this is the question that the client will see, and then also you can see you have the transaction. You see QuickBooks, as soon as you select it, you can see it has been added here on the list. Then also you can click notify, so the client will get an email. So once you click share, you can discard, that is delete. You can also click document. You can upload documents from here if you want to add a document so that the client will see what you're talking about, or anything you want to add to this request, you can do that. Then you click share. So once you click share, the client will receive the notification. So if I click share, then the client will receive a notification. So if the client receives the notification, they can go to my accountant, so they will see all the requests that they have pending. Like I said previously, we are in the client books. Whatever we are seeing here, client will also see that when they log into their book. This is the one that I just created. So you see, the client will see the to-do here, so they can upload documents. So if you click open, so now we have the transaction here. It will see what this transaction is, so the client will describe. Once they describe, so yeah, so that's how we ask question to the client. So now the client will receive the notification and then respond or send us the document. Then we should be able to process whatever open items that we receive from the client. Once we receive those, then we can update here. So you can see the client response. The client response shows there. So now we can go and classify this based on the client response. So we say payment is checking, and now we can just click save and close. So now you see the uncategorized account, the uncategorized transaction now is 0. So we can mark this as done. So we go back. The next one is transaction without payee. List transactions that have no payee. So if we select this, we can add a payee, or we can also ask the client. So most of the time, if like for minor issues that you can resolve on your own, you can resolve them. But most time, like the payee, if you cannot figure out who the payee should be for this transaction by inspecting the transaction, maybe if you look through the transaction here, if you don't know who the payee might be, you can ask the client. So if you ask the client, let's say they say a vendor by the name of Lemon Test. So if you click on the payee, you can add any payee that this expense relates to. So now you can see transaction without a payee is now 0. So you click done. So you see we have the check mark. Then the next one is undeposited fund. On the undeposited funds section, list transactions whose payment hasn't been cashed yet. So in order for us to correct this for undeposited fund, we can just click. We can either ask the client or just record a deposit, because when we receive payments, when we receive payment for an invoice, we can debit the undeposited funds and credit the customer balance. Then now, if we forget to record the deposit, so it will show here. So that's the reason why we can either record a deposit or ask the client. So you see, so now you can see if you click on this and click save, the deposit will be recorded. So you see, so now the undeposited fund is now 0 because we've recorded the deposit. So you click done for that. So the next one is unapplied payment. So unapplied payments list vendors payments that have no assignments to bill. So but in this case, we don't have any unapplied payment. Most of the time, QuickBooks will automatically apply payment. That is if we set that up on from the gear icon. But if we choose to manually apply payment, whatever payment that we make to the vendor, then if we record the bill and then record let's say we've recorded a bill and we've made payments, okay, then we fail to say pay bills, then that will appear on our unapplied payment. So we need to record that. But in this case, since we don't have any unapplied payment, that's the reason why we see 0. So there is nothing to review here. So you can also see the additional items which we already gone through. Then now the next one is account reconciliation. We've gone through reconciliation, how to reconcile an account in QuickBooks Online. So we're not gonna go like into the detail, but if you haven't seen how to reconcile, how to do bank reconciliation or account reconciliation, please check out the chapter on bank reconciliation, so you will be able to see. Here we'll show you the accounts that are unreconciled. So currently you can see the cash and checking account. You can select an account from here, but in this case I'll just leave it like that. Then you have other balance sheet account. If you also want to reconcile other balance sheet accounts, you can do that, like account receivable and account payable. You can do that as well. Then you can see you have outstanding transactions, that is the uncleared transactions. So if we have uncleared transaction, we can just click here and ask the client, or maybe we can book a journal entry or create a journal entry for that. So like I said previously, you can either click ask the client. So you see, so we need a bit more information about some recent transaction. Please fill in any details that you can, so we can ask the client to provide more information about these recent transactions that are uncleared. So we also have the additional items here. The additional items in this case is to reconcile the loan account and also review the reconciliation report. So if we click on any of these links, it will take us to the respective tabs. So you can see this is the reconcile tab from the accounting section. The next tab now should be the final review. So the final review, we can see unusual or unexpected balances. So if we see unusual account payable balances for more than 90 days, like for example, we see debit balances, material debit balances in our account payable, or large credits on our account receivable greater than 90 days, those are unusual because we know the account receivable has debits. So if we see large credits for a longer period, we want to know if there is any need to reclassify those accounts or transactions. So that's the reason why we have to review that as well. Then we also have the report links here to review the balance sheets and the profit and loss. We've gone through this as well, so check out our reporting tutorial. The last tab is wrap up. So the wrap up here, you have the summary tasks. So here you can prepare the management report. We've gone through management reporting, but if you click select, you will see these are the basic company financials. So if you open it, it will take you to the management reporting tab where you can customize the report. So we've gone through management report, how to customize this. So if you haven't seen the tutorial, please check it out. To save your time, I don't want to go into detail here, so I just wanted to show you how to access those. Then you can send the reporting package. So if you click send, it will take you to the management report as well. So let's just say this is done. If you click send, it will take you to here. So once you've created the report that you wanted to send, you can just click from the down arrow and click send. So it will go directly to the client. So this is access from the reporting center, and then you have the management. So the book review makes it really easier for you, so you don't have to be all over the place, so you know exactly what you need to do. So this is like a to-do list. So you also have close the books. So once you finish, you can close the books. Maybe for, let's say, for the end of October, you want to close the books, you can just click close the book. So this close the books, you can also access it from the accountant tools, and then you click close the books, or you can just click from here. The easy way, as you click, it will take you directly the window where to do the settings. Whereas if you want to access it from the gear icon, you can go to the gear icon and then account and settings, and then you go to the advanced. So from the advanced, you click the close the books. So once you turn this on, then you can enter the date that you want to close, which the books for which date, let's say October, and then you can say allow changes after reviewing a warning. So you can add a warning. It will tell you that these changes that you're about to make is after the closing date. Do you still want to proceed? Then you will say yes. or you can password protect the previous period. The reason why some people password protect, because they don't want, after they've closed the book, then somebody go back and do an entry in the previous period. Let's say we've closed the books for October 31st. That is our closing period. Then somebody go back and book an entry for July. So that might affect our reconciliation or other report that we've already generated. So in that case, that's the reason why, as a control, sometimes some people might put like a password or warning, whatever works for you. So, but we have a whole chapter on closing the books, what you need to do before you close the books. So in this case, we're not closing the book just yet. So that's the end of chapter 45. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like if you like the videos. See you in the next video. Thank you.